The Harry Potter reboot TV show is going to start filming really soon here, meaning we have almost everyone casted at least through the first season. So I thought now would be the perfect time to go through each of the castings, compare it to the original castings, and break down their appearance. And if you're new to the channel, my name is VELLERTON, or Vel for short, and I'm your Black Harry Potter nerd, and with that out the way, let's get to the video. Starting off with the most important person in the cast, which is Harry Potter. Dominic McLaughlin is the one playing Harry Potter in this new TV series, and honestly, I gotta say, he looks exactly like Harry Potter. Like Daniel Radcliffe also looks exactly like Harry Potter, but Dominic McLaughlin, if you look at the cover of the books, it's exactly like it. Now, I'm sure you can tell by my tone what I just said, but there's nothing really bad to say about Dominic McLaughlin playing Harry Potter. He looks genuinely like him. I don't see any problem with that. We're just going to have to wait and see his acting chops, really. But the original trio started off rough, obviously, because they are kids, so I'm sure Dominic will grow into the role and become a better actor as he goes on. Next up, we have Hermione Granger, who is being played now by Arabella Stanton, previously played by Emma Watson. Now, I have one thing to say about this. I know they're trying to be really book accurate, but I hope they don't go the route of making Hermione a huge crybaby, because if y'all know from the books, she cried so much in the books. And I know they're going for super book accuracy. I really hope they don't incorporate that part of her, I ain't gonna lie. Other than that, I don't really have any worries about this. Like I said, they're kids, so they're obviously going to grow as actors as the series goes on, or at least I hope they do. She also looks exactly like Hermione, or exactly how you would want her to look. There's nothing wrong with how she looks. And we will see some characters down this list that you'll see don't necessarily look how their characters are shown to look in the books. Nonetheless, I believe she'll do a great job. I don't think she would have been picked for the job if they didn't believe she would do a great job. And I cannot wait to see her take on Hermione. Next up, we have Ron being played by Alistair Stout, previously being played by Rupert Grint. Now, for some reason, he's the only one I'm like, I don't really see Ron in him yet, but hopefully I do see some more Ron in him when the series actually starts. But for some reason, to me, he just looks like another redheaded kid, you know what I'm saying? Of course, it's not fair to give judgment yet because the show hasn't come out. So I'm not coming out here and saying that he's not going to do a good job. I believe they will do, I believe all of them are going to do good jobs. But for some reason, he doesn't jump out and scream Ron Weasley to me. Like, for him, I'm going to need to see more of him as actual Ron. For Harry and Hermione, they immediately jump out to me as that's Harry, that's Hermione. But nonetheless, I'm sure he'll do fine. Next up, we have Lux Pratt as Draco Malfoy, previously played by Tom Felton. Now, I know everyone loves Tom Felton, but me personally, I believe there is other actors that can play Malfoy better than he can. Now, I don't feel the same way about some of the other characters. Like, me personally, I don't know if anyone can play Harry better than Daniel Radcliffe. But you know who I do think is absolutely untouchable more than anyone else? That is Fred and George. They're untouchable. But Lux Pratt genuinely looks like Malfoy. And if you just look at him in this picture, he looks like he got something slick to say. He just looks like he got something to say. And I'm here for it. But I need him to come with the jokes. I need them to get the jokes that they had in the books. Malfoy had me dying. The funniest thing I think he's ever said was to Neville. He said, "Longbottom, if brains were gold, you'd be poorer than Weasley." That had me dying every time I read it. Malfoy was supposed to be a mean bully, but I can't lie, he was mad funny, bro. I would have laughed at his jokes. Next up, we have John Lithgow as Albus Dumbledore, previously played by Richard Harris, who played Dumbledore in Sorcerer's Stone and Chamber of Secrets, and Michael Gambon, who played Dumbledore in Azkaban and Forward. I don't really care to mention Fantastic Beasts castings, because yeah. Now, this casting, I don't really have an opinion one way or another. When it comes to Dumbledore, you're going to have the fake beard and all that around you, so you're going to look pretty different. So when it comes to looks, I'm not really worried about that. I'm more concerned with how Dumbledore will be portrayed. To me, Richard Harris was the one that embodied Dumbledore the best. I know Michael Gambon played him for more movies, but a lot of his portrayals were different. Not really the soft, light-hearted Dumbledore that we know from the books. Richard Harris definitely embodied the aura more of Dumbledore throughout his run of him. For example, in the books, Dumbledore is always light-hearted, carefree, and pretty joyful, and he's actually pretty goofy a lot of times. We never really got that warm kindness from Dumbledore from Michael Gambon. We really only got menacing Dumbledore from him. Like, you look at him and he looks intimidating and not really the warm, peaceful, welcoming person that Richard Harris played, which is not all bad. I still like Michael Gambon's portrayal, but if John Lithgow can give us more of what we got from the books or more of what we got from Richard Harris, That would be perfect. Now to the most controversial choice of casting by far. That's going to be Papa Asidu. I hope I said his name right. And he's going to be playing Severus Snape, previously played by Alan Rickman. Now, of course, let's get the elephant out the room. He's black, okay? He's black, and it's questionable why they went with that. I don't know exactly why. I mean, the description of him in the book is he is pale with greasy black hair and a long hooked nose. That's how Snape is described in the books. But even though the casting is questionable, I can see why, or at least I believe I know why. Now, I can go more deeper into this in a different video, but the reason I think they chose a good black actor to play Snape is because they didn't want someone mimicking exactly what Alan Rickman brought to Snape. Because in a lot of people's eyes, Snape cannot be done over again. I believe Warner Brothers thought if they had someone else attempt to play Snape, it would just be another copy. It wouldn't be anything different. And they also didn't want to, I guess, kind of trample over his legacy maybe. But the main reason I believe is because they wanted something different from what we've got previously from Snape. They probably thought Alan Rickman's portrayal of Snape was too high to go after. It was too perfect maybe. So having a completely different person entirely than what we thought would play Snape would definitely change the story a little bit, or at least give us a different portrayal. So while he's not described as he is in the books, I believe it'll still be really good. Outside of the looks, I think the portrayal will be even better, and hopefully we actually get that real portrayal of how Snape actually is in the books, because for some reason, well, not for some reason, a lot of people from Alan Rickman's portrayal think that he is way nicer and way better of a person than he actually is in the books. In the books, he terrorizes the kids for no reason. They showed Snape being Neville's worst fear in the movies, but it's way worse in the books. You get to see the multiple times over and over and over again that Snape goes after Neville. It's really bad in the books, and it's not even just Neville. Snape pretty much makes Hermione go get plastic surgery. Malfoy tried to shoot a curse at Harry and it hit Hermione instead, and then Hermione's buck teeth started growing at an alarming rate, and she's already kind of insecure about them. And then Snape seen them, they were huge by the way, and said he sees no difference and didn't really do anything to Malfoy. And then when Hermione went to go get her teeth fixed with Madame Pomfrey, she just kept telling her to shrink them until it was at what she wanted them to be, which is very sad, and Snape caused that. That's just a few things. He's really bad in the books, but I'm getting sidetracked. This is a good casting, I believe, and I can't wait to see how it turns out. Next up, we have Janet McTeer as Minerva McGonagall, previously played by Dame Maggie Smith. And honestly, she looks the part. McGonagall is supposed to be about 55, 56. And while McTeer is a little bit older, she still looks around that age anyway. Now this, I think, will be another hard portrayal to follow up off of Maggie Smith, mostly because her voice is so iconic. I mean, when you even listen to Jim Dale do her voice, it's just so iconic. I can't imagine McGonagall with any other voice than Maggie Smith's. Her enunciation and cadence and the tone of her voice, just everything about her is just so I just don't know if it'll be able to live up to that, but I don't doubt she'll do a good job. Like I said, I think everyone in the cast will do a good job. It's just, will it live up to the originals? I don't know. I think some will and some won't. This is one of those where I'm like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. Next up, we have Nick Frost as Rubius Hagrid. Now, I'm not gonna lie, this looks like a cheap knockoff. Hagrid, man. Oh my gosh. Hagrid was previously played by Robbie Coltrane, and I don't know if anyone can do better than he can at Hagrid. I mean, I think maybe someone could, like Nick Frost, he could do close, but to get his voice down and like everything, so you're a wizard, and like the gruffness, just everything of his voice is just so iconic to Hagrid. Same way with Maggie Smith. I just don't know if anyone else can top that. So yeah, I'm still excited to see his portrayal, but I don't think he'll top Robbie. I'm sorry, I don't. Next up, we have Paul Whitehouse as Filch. He was previously portrayed by David Bradley. Now, Filch, he's not a really important character. I think he will be able to play him just as good as David did, if not better. Well, I'm not really worried about this, but I mean, there are some moments that I don't think you can really replicate, like when Filch was running and it's like, students out of bed, you know what I'm saying? Like, that obviously is not going to be able to be replicated. If it even is attempted, it's not going to be the same, because it'll obviously be like so forced to try to make it the same as the original. So, you know what I'm saying? But like, it's Filch, so whatever. Next up, we have Luke Talon, or Fallon, I don't know how to say his last name, I'm sorry, as Professor Quirrell, previously played by Ian Hart. Now for Quirrell, I don't really have any expectations. I mean, it's not really hard to play Quirrell like in a specific way. I believe he can definitely play Quirrell better, only because he'd have more time with Quirrell actually than having the short amount of time he did in the movie. He'd have more time in an entire season of Harry Potter, whereas other characters got multiple movies to grow and just show their character more in. Quirrell's only in the first book. So, hey, I'm excited to see, like, as far as looks go, I mean, I guess. I mean, I don't really care how Quirrell looks. As long as he got that turban on his head, I don't really care. Next up, we have Johnny Flynn as Lucius Malfoy, previously played by Jonathan Isaacs. First off, Johnny Flynn, insanely fire name. Insanely. But as far as looks go, he don't really scream Lucius to me. I'm not gonna lie. Like, not at all. And then, even the wig that Jonathan Isaacs wore, apparently he had to convince them to wear that. So I assume they're going to go with a completely different look entirely, unless they are going to make him wear a wig and he's going to have long white hair, or blonde hair, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. I gotta see how he looks first and when the series comes out, because I don't know. Jonathan Isaacs as Lucius was just so goated. The energy and everything he brought to the character was just, I don't know if he can beat that. I don't know if you can beat that, but he can try. Johnny Flynn, though, does look like he could play Charlie Weasley. I'm not gonna lie to you. Maybe they should have got him to do that. I don't know. Next up, we have Belle Powley as Petunia Dursley. And honestly, I really don't like, as far as looks go, sure, she's Petunia, but also she's way younger, which is also good because a lot of the characters in the movies were aged up, or they weren't really looking for age specifically. For example, Snape, he was 40, 50. Alan Rickman was already in his 50s when he was playing Snape, and Snape's supposed to be in his early 30s at the beginning of the series when Harry's in school. He's not supposed to be that old already. So, I mean, and then same for Petunia. Petunia is only 2 years older than Lily, and Lily died at like 21 years old, I think it was. So Petunia is supposed to be 23, 24 when Harry's on her doorstep. So it'll be nice to see a more accurate version of Petunia, and it'll definitely be fun to see her played differently. Now, I wouldn't necessarily say this is going to be better or worse than Fiona Shaw's portrayal as Petunia, because I think they're going to be so different, because Fiona Shaw was like 40, 50 years old. So I think it'll just be much different portrayals, and I'm excited to see her as Petunia. Next up, we got Daniel Rigby as Vernon Dursley. And for this one, I just also got to say, based off of looks, he's just not big enough, I think. And I've seen set photos. He's not being put in any really like fat suit or anything like that. I guess they're just going for a smaller Vernon. I mean, it still kind of matters to the character, because Vernon is supposed to be this big dude. Like, he's supposed to be fat. Like, he's supposed to be really fat, pretty much. And then Petunia is supposed to be this really skinny woman. So, I mean, there's that's a big part of their characters. I mean, they say it all the time, but I mean, I guess we'll see the portrayal. Yeah, I guess we'll see. Richard Griffith's portrayal actually was really nice compared to the books. Again, kind of like how I said Snape was nice in the movies compared to how he was in the books. Richard Griffith's Vernon was also nicer, way nicer compared to he was in the books. Same as Petunia, but whatever. Next up, we got Catherine Parkinson, played by Molly Weasley, previously played by Julie Walters. This is a casting I think is done beautifully. I don't see anything wrong with it. I believe she can surpass Julie Walters. And although we won't get the iconic voice that Julie Walters has for Molly, unless Catherine's going to try and copy that, but I don't think she should do that. I think she should do her own thing. But she looks the part to me, and I haven't seen anything she's in, but I believe she'll do a great job. Next up, we got Parvati Patil, played by Alicia Lionel. Sorry if I butchered her name, I'm so sorry. Previously played by Shafali Chowdhury. I don't know how to say her name either. I'm sorry. Nothing really to say. I'm sure she'll do fine. Next up, we got Seamus Finnegan, played by Leo Early, previously played by Devin Murray. Once again, I'm sure he'll do fine. Nothing really to say here. I do like the gag that they added in the movies that he's always making stuff blow up. It reminds me of the gag in iCarly where Spencer's always making things catch on fire. It's mad funny to me, but apparently a lot of people hated that for some reason. I thought it was funny and just something that cool. It's a running gag, running joke. Thought it was cool. Kind of like how in Fresh Prince, whenever Jazz is about to get thrown out, he always had that same shirt on. It's the small things, okay? Next up, we got Cornelius Fudge, played by Bertie Carvel, previously played by Robert Hardy. I don't really have anything to say. I mean, it's Fudge. His performance was good, but I believe it can be surpassed and it can be done better if given more time. So then we got Neville Longbottom, played by Rory Wilmot, previously played by Matthew Lewis. Neville is iconic, but his acting wasn't necessarily the best thing about him. It was more of his face and I guess the way he did certain things, his voice. So I think it's possible to pass him, but who knows? We'll have to wait and see. Next, we have Dudley, played by Amos Kitson, previously played by Harry Melling. Now, he just looks like Dudley. I mean, look at him. He just looks like Dudley. That's all we really need. I'm not gonna lie to you. Next, we got Madam Hooch, played by Louise Brealey, previously played by Zoe Wanamaker. Madam Hooch was not really in the movies like that, so sure, let's go. I mean, she was in the books more, obviously, but still not a crazy amount. So, hey, well, let's see what she does. I'm sure she can do better, or do more with the character, I should say. Last but not least, we have Ollivander, played by Anton Lesser, previously played by John Hurt. John Hurt did a good job with the character from his mannerisms and portrayal, so I don't know if he can be outdone. I think it'll just be a new, different take on the character, so, but I guess we'll have to see. Now, that is every casting that's been released so far. I'm sure there'll be some more to come, but we've gotten pretty much every major character so far. Now, we're on the road to 1,000 subscribers, and I'm trying to hit that goal before the end of the summer. So if you guys could please like the video and subscribe, it would mean a lot to me. With that being said, it's been your Black Harry Potter nerd, and I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace.